Hello, everybody. Today we're talking about Bitcoin. And if you are new to Bitcoin or you've been wanting to invest in Bitcoin or you've actually been in Bitcoin for multiple years, but you've never really understood the math behind Bitcoin and so forth, this video is simply about that. And we're going to do a very quick, brief explanation. So here we're starting off by looking at this graph with the 2016, 2020, and the 2024 cycle. On the left side, we have the days since halving and the price in relative to the price of the halving day. Right now we are at here right in this moment where we still have a lot ahead of us from the projected bottom. A lot of people don't understand this, but if you actually pay attention to the past cycles, when you do hit the projected bottom, you actually stay in that vicinity and you revisit it. Now, this is a very large scale, so this is around 30 days. So we would have a very large opportunity of time to get in at the bottom. So this constant FOMO being built and people pushing you to buy now are people that are just not understanding of Bitcoin and the cycles that it goes through. So every cycle, it takes around 525 to 545 days to hit its absolute top after the halving. Now, if we're looking at the current cycle, we had the halving at 63,000 and we hit the top at 124, which was exactly in between the 525 and the 546 days that we expected. Now, looking at the top multiplication, top multiplier from the halving price, we only had a 2x. Looking at the last cycle, we had a 7.9x, basically an 8x, and the cycle before that, we had a 30x. Obviously, as the price increases, we're expecting this number to go down. We're not expecting, and a 30x or 8x at 125,000. That would just put us at absurd numbers. So using this particular figure, we're able to kind of look at the low percentage multiplier based on the halving price. So here we had a half of 651, and then the cycle low was at 3,000. That is around 4.97 times more. Now here we had 8,600, and we had only a 1.84 times more, putting us at 15,000 for the cycle low. If we do that same exact calculation at 63,000 halving, and by the way that we got this calculation is we divided this number by this number, and we got a figure that we can kind of use as an estimate of how much we'd expect it to go down by based on the last two cycles. That would put us at around 43,000. Now, every cycle pays 1/4 of the last cycle. So we had a 30x, we had an 8x, and now we have a 2x. That means the next cycle, we're expecting a 0.5x from the halving price. Now, the halving price is not the price that you see at 63,000. We're talking about the upcoming cycle that will be there in 2028. So looking at the last picture here, we have a lot of people don't understand this, but it's okay, and we're here to explain it. So the prior cycles, they had 360 to 380 days of downtrend before hitting the absolute low. Right now, we are at 250 days from the top, meaning we still have a lot more low to go. People are constantly feeling FOMO. People are DCAing in, but I mean, you could do that if that is the strategy that you want to go with, but it's important to just be a little bit more intelligent with your investments. So the last two bottoms we had was 77%, 83%, but we are expecting it to reduce. So we had 83% and then we went down to 77%, and we are expecting this upcoming cycle to be a reduction on that. Now, based on two different models, we have a geometric model and we have a drawdown compression. So the cycle low, based on the figures that I told you earlier, is a reduction multiplication by 0.37 of each cycle. So we went from 4.97 to 1.84, and we're expecting that to bring us down to 0.68. So if you take 1.84, multiply that by 0.37, you would get 0.68, which would expect the low to be at around 43,000. Now, if you look at the drawdown compression, and this is important to understand that when both models agree, then that is typically a sign of reassurance. So we have the drawdowns going from 83% to 77%. We are projected at 65% from the top. Now, calculating that back from 124,000, that would put us at 44,000. Now, it's important that both of these really match because that actually reaffirms us. Now, we are only 365 days that we are expecting. We are 250 away, so we have around 100 days before we really see the bottom. Now, we are projected to see the bottom at between October and November, but we probably see it right in the middle of that. So we stay on the figure. That being said, where is the bottom? We are predicting between 43 and 44,000, and the date that we're expecting this to happen is October to November of this year. So what does that mean? That means you should pay attention. If you are going to DCA, you can DCA calmly and expecting the drawdown that will be coming. And if you don't believe this, or you are not a firm believer of these figures and the math behind this, then you can leave a comment below and explain what you believe. But we will be back in November to go over this video and see if I was correct or not. Thank you guys for watching.